Amendments 19, 23, 24, and 26 are all about expanding voting rights or suffrage. Amendment 19, women's suffrage, ratified 1920, it says, "The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex." So women get the right to vote after a long, hard battle. There was an attempt way back with the 15th Amendment so that women could get the right to vote in 1870, though that was unlikely. So lists everyone allowed to vote for this following this amendment: citizens, men and women of any race, and anyone aged 21 years of age and older. So after this, we still deny the right to vote to 18 to 20-year-olds, felons in a lot of cases, blacks intimidated in Jim Crow South. Non-citizens are not allowed to vote either. And do understand, in some cases, we are totally okay with some of these disenfranchisements. Amendment 23 gives 3 electoral votes for president to the District of Columbia, ratified in 1961. Washington, D.C. is not in a state, so they have no representatives, they have no senators, but after this amendment, they do get 3 electoral votes for president. So after this amendment, the total number of electors goes to 538, making the number needed to become the president-elect 270 electoral votes. Amendment 24 bans a poll tax, that the right of citizens of the United States to vote in any election shall not be denied or abridged by the United States by reason of failure to pay any poll tax or other tax. Historic background of this puts it in Jim Crow South, where they were attempting different ways to disenfranchise black voters. And disenfranchise means to disallow them or keep them from voting. Poll tax was one, literacy tests, which were banned by the Voting Rights Act, and then grandfather clauses, which were banned by a Supreme Court decision. So making people pay a tax limits their access to democracy because it makes it more difficult for a person with less money to vote, and that would be considered illegal. Recent cases and laws and regulations have come up and have been controversial, especially when it comes to things like photo ID. If they're requiring you to do something that costs money in order to be able to vote, is that considered a poll tax? Or even if people don't have gas money, it's really a question of how can we make voting easier, or if that is even a concern of the government. The last amendment to discuss expanding suffrage and all the amendments is Amendment 26. Yes, there are 27, but we already covered the 27th Amendment in the administrative episode. But Amendment 26 sets the voting age to 18 years old. So now, after this, the right to vote shall not be denied or abridged to any 18-year-old citizen of any race or gender. In some states, we still deny the right to vote to felons. We deny the right to vote to people under the age of 18, to non-citizens, and so that we do have some restrictions on voting. And again, you could argue in some ways or another about those things, but just trying to set the record straight here.